Chapter 10. The opulence of the Absolute. In this chapter, Krishna, the Supreme Personality, reveals deeper knowledge about his divine opulence to Arjuna. He explains that he possesses 6 opulences: strength, fame, wealth, knowledge, beauty, and renunciation. These qualities were evident when he was on earth, and now Krishna is sharing more confidential insights with Arjuna. Krishna acknowledges that even great demigods and sages cannot fully comprehend his origin and opulence. They struggle to understand why the Supreme descends to earth as an ordinary human and performs extraordinary activities. Krishna emphasizes that true understanding of him comes through devotion and surrender, not mere scholarly knowledge. As the unborn source of all demigods and sages, Krishna is the cause of everything. Those who recognize him as the Supreme, beyond birth, and the creator of all worlds, become free from all sins. Understanding Krishna's divine nature and supreme position is crucial for spiritual realization. Krishna further stresses that one who acknowledges him as unborn, beginningless, and the Lord of all worlds becomes free from sinful reactions. Knowledge of Krishna as the Supreme is essential for spiritual success, surpassing the understanding of ordinary men or scholars. Those who grasp this truth are liberated from sin and achieve profound spiritual realization. Intelligence, knowledge, freedom from doubt and delusion, forgiveness, truthfulness, control of the senses, control of the mind, happiness and distress, birth, death, fear, fearlessness, non-violence, equanimity, satisfaction, austerity, charity, fame, and infamy, all these various qualities of living beings are created by me alone. The different qualities of living entities, be they good or bad, are all created by Kanaya, and they are described here. Intelligence refers to the power to analyze things in their proper perspective, and knowledge refers to understanding what is spirit and what is matter. Ordinary knowledge obtained by a university education pertains only to matter, and it is not accepted here as knowledge. Knowledge means knowing the distinction between spirit and matter. Asamoha, freedom from doubt and delusion, can be achieved when one is not hesitant and when he understands the transcendental philosophy. Slowly but surely he becomes free from bewilderment. Nothing should be accepted blindly, everything should be accepted with care and with caution. Nama, tolerance and forgiveness, should be practiced. One should be tolerant and excuse the minor offenses of others. Satyam, truthfulness, means that facts should be presented as they are, for the benefit of others. Facts should not be misrepresented. According to social conventions, it is said that one can speak the truth only when it is palatable to others. But that is not truthfulness. Control of the senses means that the senses should not be used for unnecessary personal enjoyment. There is no prohibition against meeting the proper needs of the senses, but unnecessary sense enjoyment is detrimental for spiritual advancement. Similarly, one should restrain the mind from unnecessary thoughts, that is called kama. One should not spend one's time pondering over earning money. That is a misuse of the thinking power. The mind should be used to understand the prime necessity of human beings, and that should be presented authoritatively. The power of thought should be developed in association with persons who are authorities in the scriptures, saintly persons and spiritual masters, and those whose thinking is highly developed. Sukham, pleasure or happiness, should always be in that which is favorable for the cultivation of the spiritual knowledge of Kanaya consciousness. And similarly, that which is painful or which causes distress is that which is unfavorable for the cultivation of Kanaya consciousness. Anything favorable for the development of Kanaya consciousness should be accepted, and anything unfavorable should be rejected. Bhava, birth, should be understood to refer to the body. As far as the soul is concerned, there is neither birth nor death, that we have discussed in the beginning of Bhagavad Gita. Birth and death apply to one's embodiment in the material world. Fear is due to worrying about the future. A person in Kanaya consciousness has no fear because by his activities he is sure to go back to the spiritual sky, back home, back to Godhead. Therefore his future is very bright. Others, however, do not know what their future holds, they have no knowledge of what the next life holds. So they are therefore in constant anxiety. If we want to get free from anxiety, then the best course is to understand Kanaya and be situated always in Kanaya consciousness. In that way, we will be free from all fear. In the confident that they are not the Ma. Srimad Bhagavatam states, Bhagvat hinavekator sayat, fear is caused by our absorption in the illusory energy. But those who are free from the illusory energy, those who are confident that they are not the material body, that they are spiritual parts of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and who are therefore engaged in the transcendental service of the Supreme Godhead, have nothing to fear. Their future is very bright. This fear is a condition of persons who are not in Kanaya consciousness. Abhyam, fearlessness, is possible only for one in Kanaya consciousness. Ahayasa, non-violence, means that one should not do anything which will put others into misery or confusion. Material activities that are promised by so many politicians, sociologists, philanthropists, etc., do not produce very good results because the politicians and philanthropists have no transcendental vision. They do not know what is actually beneficial for human society. Ahayasa means that people should be trained in such a way that the full utilization of the human body can be achieved. The human body is meant for spiritual realization, so any movement or any commissions which do not further that end commit violence on the human body. That which furthers the future spiritual happiness of the people in general is called non-violence. Samatha, equanimity, refers to freedom from attachment and aversion. To be very much attached or to be very much detached is not the best. This material world should be accepted without attachment or aversion. That which is favorable for prosecuting Kanaya consciousness should be accepted, that which is unfavorable should be rejected. That is called samatha, equanimity. A person in Kanaya consciousness has nothing to reject and nothing to accept save in terms of its usefulness in the prosecution of Kanaya consciousness. Tunoi, satisfaction, means that one should not be eager to gather more and more material goods by unnecessary activity. One should be satisfied with whatever is obtained by the grace of the Supreme Lord, that is called satisfaction. Tapas means austerity or penance. There are many rules and regulations in the Vedas which apply here, like rising early in the morning and taking a bath. Sometimes it is very troublesome to rise early in the morning, but whatever voluntary trouble one may suffer in this way is called penance. Similarly, there are prescriptions for fasting on certain days of the month. One may not be inclined to practice such fasting, but because of his determination to make advancement in the science of Kanaya consciousness, he should accept such bodily troubles when they are recommended. However, one should not fast unnecessarily or against Vedic injunctions. One should not fast for some political purpose that is described in Bhagavad Gita as fasting in ignorance, and anything done in ignorance or passion does not lead to spiritual advancement. Everything done in the mode of goodness does advance one, however, and fasting done in terms of the Vedic injunctions enriches one in spiritual knowledge. As far as charity is concerned, one should give 50% of his earnings to some good cause. And what is a good cause? It is that which is conducted in terms of Kanaya consciousness. That is not only a good cause, but the best cause. Because Kanaya is good, his cause is also good. Thus charity should be given to a person who is engaged in Kanaya consciousness. According to Vedic literature, it is enjoined that charity should be given to the Brahmiyas. This practice is still followed, although not very nicely in terms of the Vedic injunction. But still the injunction is that charity should be given to the Brahmiyas. Why? Because they are engaged in higher cultivation of spiritual knowledge. A Brahmiya is supposed to devote his whole life to understanding Brahmin. Brahma Janateti Brahmo, one who knows Brahmin is called a Brahmiya. Thus charity is offered to the Brahmiyas because they are always engaged in the higher spiritual service and have no time to earn their livelihood. In the Vedic literature, charity is also to be awarded to one in the renounced order of life, sannyas. The sannyasis beg from door to door, not for money but for missionary purposes. The system is that they go from door to door to awaken the householders from the slumber of ignorance. Because the householders are engaged in family affairs and have forgotten their actual purpose in life, awakening their Kanaya consciousness, it is the business of the sannyasis to go as beggars to the householders and encourage them to be Kanaya conscious. As it is said in the Vedas, one should awake and achieve what is due him in this human form of life. This knowledge and method are distributed by sannyasis, hence charity is to be given to the renouncer of life, to the Brahmiyas, and similar good causes, not to any whimsical cause. Yakas, fame, should be according to Lord Caitanya, who said that a man is famous when he is known as a great devotee. That is real fame. If one has become a great man in Kanaya consciousness and it is known, then he is truly famous. One who does not have such fame is infamous. All these qualities are manifest throughout the universe in human society and in the society of the demigods. There are many forms of humanity on other planets, and these qualities are there. Now, for one who wants to advance in Kanaya consciousness, Kanaya creates all these qualities, but the person develops them himself from within. One who engages in the devotional service of the Supreme Lord develops all the good qualities as arranged by the Supreme Lord. Of whatever we find, good or bad, the origin is Kanaya. Nothing can manifest itself in this material world which is not in Kanaya. That is knowledge. Although we know that things are differently situated, we should realize that everything flows from Kanaya. Text 6. Mahanu Sapta Perv Kat Fromanavas Tarth Mad Bha with Macron Va with Macron Mars J with Macron Ta with Macron. Yelokarim Praj. The 7 great sages, and before them the 4 other great sages and the Manus, progenitors of mankind, come from me, born from my mind, and all the living beings populating the various planets descend from them. Synopsis of the universal population. Brahm is the original creature born out of the energy of the Supreme Lord, who is known as Hiryagarbha. And from Brahm, all the 7 great sages, and before them 4 other great sages, named Sanaka, Sananda, Santana, and Sanatkumra, and the Manus, are manifested. All these 25 great sages are known as the patriarchs of the living entities all over the universe. There are innumerable universes and innumerable planets within each universe, and each planet is full of the population of different varieties. All of them are born of these 25 patriarchs. Brahm underwent penance for 1,000 years of the demigods before he realized by the grace of Ka how to create. Then from Brahm came Sanaka, Sananda, Santana, and Sanatkumra, then Rudra, and then the 7 sages. And in this way all the Brahmas and Kshatriyas are born out of the energy of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Brahm is known as Pitmaha, the grandfather, and Ka is known as Prapitmaha, the father of the grandfather. That is stated in the 11th chapter of the Bhagavad Gita with Macron 11.39. Text 7, Et Vibhti Yoga Ca Mamayo Veti Tatvata Sala Vikalpina Yogana Ujiate Ntr Saya. One who is factually convinced of this opulence and mystic power of mine engages in unalloyed devotional service. Of this there is no doubt. The highest summit of spiritual perfection is knowledge of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Unless one is firmly convinced of the different opulences of the Supreme Lord, he cannot engage in devotional service. Generally, people know that God is great, but they do not know in detail how God is great. Here are the details. If one knows factually how God is great, then naturally, he becomes a surrendered soul and engages himself in the devotional service of the Lord. When one factually knows the opulences of the Supreme, there is no alternative but to surrender to him. This factual knowledge can be known from the descriptions in Samad Bhagavatam, Bhagavad Gita with Macron, and similar literatures. In the administration of this universe, there are many demigods distributed throughout the planetary system, and the chief of them are Brahm, Lord Shiva, and the 4 great Kumras and the other patriarchs. There are many forefathers of the population of the universe, and all of them are born of the Supreme Lord, Ka. The Supreme Personality of Godhead, Ka, is the original forefather of all forefathers. These are some of the opulences of the Supreme Lord. Lord Krishna explains that he is the source of both the spiritual and material worlds, and everything emanates from him. A learned scholar, well versed in Vedic knowledge and teachings, understands that Krishna is the origin of all existence. Krishna is the one who instructed Brahma in Vedic knowledge and disseminated it in the past. Various Upanishads and scriptures affirm that Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. For instance, the Narayana Upanishad states that from Narayana, Brahma is born, and from Brahma, other celestial beings like Shiva are born. Krishna is recognized as the ultimate source and cause of everything. Krishna asserts that he is the efficient cause of all generations and that there is no supreme controller other than him. Those who comprehend Krishna's greatness through a bona fide spiritual master and Vedic literature engage in unwavering devotional service. In the subsequent verses, Krishna describes the characteristics of his pure devotees. Their thoughts are always absorbed in him, their lives devoted to his service, and they find joy in enlightening one another about Krishna. These devotees engage in Buddha Yoga, the highest intelligence, by constantly serving Krishna with love. Krishna, residing in the hearts of his devotees, dispels the darkness of ignorance and provides them with the understanding needed to reach him. The Lord emphasizes that true knowledge and progress come through sincere devotion and service, not just intellectual speculation. In essence, Krishna encourages unwavering devotion, stressing that it is through love and service to him that one can attain true knowledge and overcome the material entanglements of the world. Arjuna spoke. You are the highest truth, the ultimate refuge, the purest, and the absolute. You are the timeless, divine, original person, unborn and supreme. Great sages like Narada, Asita, Devala, and Visa confirm this truth about you. Now, you affirm it yourself. O Krishna, I believe all you say. Even gods and demons can't fathom your divine nature, O Lord. You alone know yourself by your divine power. You're the origin, Lord of all, the God of gods, and the ruler of the universe. Tell me in detail about your divine glories that pervade all worlds. O Krishna, the supreme mystic, how can I always think of you? In what forms can I remember you, O Supreme Lord? Of priests, O Arjuna, know me to be the chief, Baspati. Of generals, I am Krikeya, and of bodies of water, I am the ocean. Indra, the chief demigod of the heavenly planets and the king of the heavens, reigns in Indraloka. Baspati, as Indra's priest, holds a position analogous to that of Indra, being the chief among priests. In the same vein, as Indra is the paramount ruler of the demigods, Krikeya, the son of Pravat and Lord Siva, commands all military forces. The ocean, being the greatest among bodies of water, represents my opulence. These representations of Ka only provide glimpses of his greatness. Among great sages, I am Bhgu, of vibrations, the transcendental O. In sacrifices, I am the chanting of holy names, Japa, and of immovable things, I am the Himalayas. Brahm, the first living creature within the universe, created several suns for the propagation of various species. Bhgu stands out as the most potent sage among these suns. The transcendental vibration O represents Ka, and among sacrifices, the chanting of Hare Ka stands as the purest representation of Ka. Animal sacrifices may be recommended in certain contexts, but in the sacrifice of Hare Ka, there is no question of violence. It is the simplest and purest form of worship. Whatever is sublime in the worlds is a representation of Ka, thus, the Himalayas, the greatest mountains, also symbolize him. The mention of Meru in a previous verse does not diminish the significance of the Himalayas, as Meru can be movable, whereas the Himalayas remain steadfast. Of all trees, I am the banyan tree, among sages, among demigods, I am Narada. Among Gandharvas, I am Citraratha, and among perfected beings, I am the sage Kapila. The banyan tree, Asvatha, holds a high place in the hierarchy of trees, often worshipped in daily morning rituals in India. Among demigods, Narada, the greatest devotee in the universe, represents Ka. Gandharva planet, known for beautiful entities who sing melodiously, is led by Citraratha. Among perfected beings, Kapila, the son of Devati, embodies Ka, serving as his incarnation. It's essential to distinguish him from the later Kapila, who espoused an atheistic philosophy. Of priests, O Arjuna, know me to be the chief, Baspati. Of generals, I am Krikeya, and of bodies of water, I am the ocean. Indra, the chief demigod of the heavenly planets and the king of the heavens, reigns in Indraloka. Baspati, as Indra's priest, holds a position analogous to that of Indra, being the chief among priests. In the same vein, as Indra is the paramount ruler of the demigods, Krikeya, the son of Pravat and Lord Siva, commands all military forces. The ocean, being the greatest among bodies of water, represents my opulence. These representations of Ka only provide glimpses of his greatness. Among great sages, I am Bhgu, of vibrations, the transcendental O. In sacrifices, I am the chanting of holy names, Japa, and of immovable things, I am the Himalayas. Brahm, the first living creature within the universe, created several suns for the propagation of various species. Bhgu stands out as the most potent sage among these sons. The transcendental vibration O represents Ka, and among sacrifices, the chanting of Hare Ka stands as the purest representation of Ka. Animal sacrifices may be recommended in certain contexts, but in the sacrifice of Hare Ka, there is no question of violence. It is the simplest and purest form of worship. Whatever is sublime in the worlds is a representation of Ka. Thus, the Himalayas, the greatest mountains, also symbolize him. The mention of Meru in a previous verse does not diminish the significance of the Himalayas, as Meru can be movable, whereas the Himalayas remain steadfast. Of all trees, I am the banyan tree, among sages, among demigods, I am Narada. Among Gandharvas, I am Citraratha, and among perfected beings, I am the sage Kapila. The banyan tree, Asvatha, holds a high place in the hierarchy of trees, often worshipped in daily morning rituals in India. Among demigods, Narada, the greatest devotee in the universe, represents Ka. Gandharva planet, known for beautiful entities who sing melodiously, is led by Citraratha. Among perfected beings, Kapila, the son of Devati, embodies Ka, serving as his incarnation. It's essential to distinguish him from the later Kapila, who espoused an atheistic philosophy. Of horses, produced during the churning of the ocean for nectar, among lordly elephants, Airavata, and among men, I am the monarch. Ukaishrava and Airavata, born from the churning of the ocean, hold special significance as representatives of Krishna. In the human realm, the king, established based on godly qualifications, is Krishna's representative. Monarchs like Maharaja Yudhishthira, Maharaja Parikshit, and Lord Rama exemplify righteous kings who prioritize the welfare of their citizens. In Vedic literature, the king is considered God's representative. However, with the decline of religious principles, monarchy has deteriorated and is now largely abolished. Nevertheless, in the past, people were happier under righteous kings. Weapons, I am the thunderbolt, among cows, I am the Surabi. Causes for procreation, I am Kandapa, the god of love, and of serpents, I am Vasuki. The thunderbolt, a mighty weapon, symbolizes Krishna's power. In Krishnaloka, in the spiritual sky, there are cows that can be milked at any time, producing as much milk as one desires. These Surabi cows don't exist in the material world, but are mentioned in Krishnaloka, where the Lord herds them. Kandapa, the god of love, signifies Krishna when sex is engaged in for procreation rather than mere sense gratification. Among many hooded Nagas, I am Ananta, and among aquatics, I am the demigod Vayuna. Among departed ancestors, I am Ariyama, and among dispensers of law, I am Yama, the lord of death. Ananta, the greatest among many hooded Nagas, and Vayuna, among aquatics, represent Krishna. Ariyama presides over a planet of ancestors and signifies Krishna. Yama, chief among those who give punishments to the miscreants, maintains a planet near Earth. After death, the sinful are taken there, and Yama administers appropriate punishments for their deeds. Among the Daitya demons, I am the devoted Prahada, among subduers, I am time, among beasts, I am the lion, and among birds, I am Garuda. Diti and Aditi are two sisters. The sons of Aditi are called Adityas, and the sons of Diti are called Daityas. All the Adityas are devotees of the Lord, and all the Daityas are atheistic. Although Prahada was born in the family of the Daityas, he was a great devotee from his childhood. Because of his devotional service and godly nature, he is considered a representative of Krishna. There are many subduing principles, but time wears down all things in the material universe and thus represents Krishna. Of the many animals, the lion is the most powerful and ferocious, and among birds, Garuda, the bearer of Lord Vishnu, is the greatest. In the realm of letters, I am the letter A, among compound words, I am the dual compound. I am also inexhaustible time, and among creators, I am Brahma. Akara, the first letter of the Sanskrit alphabet, is the beginning of the Vedic literature. Without Akara, nothing can be sounded, therefore, it is the beginning of sound. In Sanskrit, there are also many compound words, of which the dual word, like Ramakrishna, is called Dvanva. In this compound, the words Rama and Krishna have the same form, and therefore, the compound is called dual. Among all kinds of killers, time is the ultimate, as time kills everything. Time is the representative of Krishna because, in due course, there will be a great fire, and everything will be annihilated. Among the living entities who are creators, Brahma, who has 4 heads, is the chief. Therefore, he is a representative of the Supreme Lord, Krishna. I am all-devouring death, and I am the generating principle of all that is yet to be. Among women, I am fame, fortune, fine speech, memory, intelligence, steadfastness, and patience. As soon as a man is born, he dies at every moment. Thus, death is devouring every living entity at every moment, but the last stroke is called death itself. That death is Krishna. Regarding future development, all living entities undergo 6 basic changes: birth, growth, remaining for some time, reproduction, dwindling, and finally vanishing. Of these changes, the first is deliverance from the womb, and that is Krishna. The first generation is the beginning of all future activities. The 7 opulences listed, fame, fortune, fine speech, memory, intelligence, steadfastness, and patience, are considered feminine. If a person possesses all or some of them, he becomes glorious. If a man is famous as a righteous man, that makes him glorious. Sanskrit is a perfect language and is therefore very glorious. If, after studying, one can remember a subject matter, he is gifted with good memory, or smriti. The ability not only to read many books on different subject matters but also to understand and apply them when necessary is intelligence. Metta, another opulence. The ability to overcome unsteadiness is called firmness or steadfastness, driti. When one is fully qualified yet is humble and gentle, and when one is able to keep his balance both in sorrow and in the ecstasy of joy, he has the opulence called patience, kshama. Of the hymns in the Sama Veda, I am the Brihat Sama, and of poetry, I am the Gayatri. Of months, I am Margashira, November-December, and of seasons, I am flower-bearing spring. Among the hymns in the Sama Veda, the Brihat Sama, with its exquisite melody, is prominent. In Sanskrit poetry, regulated rhyme and meter are important, and among these, the Gayatri mantra, chanted by duly qualified brahmanas, is most prominent. The Gayatri mantra is mentioned in the Srimad Bhagavatam, and because it is especially meant for God realization, it represents the Supreme Lord. It is considered the sound incarnation of Brahman. Brahma is its initiator, and it is passed down in disciplic succession from him. The month of November-December is considered the best because in India, grains are collected from the fields at this time, and people become very happy. Spring is a universally liked season because it is neither too hot nor too cold, and flowers and trees blossom and flourish. In spring, many ceremonies commemorating Krishna's pastimes take place, making it the most joyful season and representing the Supreme Lord, Krishna. I am also the gambling of cheats, and of the splendid, I am the splendor. I am victory, adventure, and the strength of the strong. Cheating comes in many forms across the universe, and among all deceptive practices, gambling stands supreme, representing Krishna. As the Supreme, Krishna can be more deceitful than any mere man. If Krishna chooses to deceive a person, no one can surpass him in his deceit. His greatness is not one-sided, it is all-encompassing. Among the victorious, he is victory. He is the splendor of the splendid. Among the enterprising and industrious, he is the most enterprising and industrious. Among adventurers, he is the most adventurous, and among the strong, he is the strongest. When Krishna was present on earth, no one could surpass him in strength. Even in his childhood, he lifted Govardhana hill. No one can surpass him in cheating, splendor, victory, enterprise, and strength. Among the descendants of Vrishni, I am Vasudeva, among the Pandavas, I am Arjuna. Among the sages, I am Vyasa, and among great thinkers, I am Ushana. Krishna is the original Supreme Personality of Godhead, and Baladeva is Krishna's immediate expansion. Both Lord Krishna and Baladeva appeared as sons of Vasudeva, so both of them may be called Vasudeva. From another point of view, because Krishna never leaves Vrindavan, all the forms of Krishna that appear elsewhere are his expansions. Vasudeva is Krishna's immediate expansion, so Vasudeva is not different from Krishna. The Vasudeva referred to in this verse is Baladeva or Balarama because he is the original source of all incarnations, and thus the sole source of Vasudeva. The immediate expansions of the Lord are called svamsha, personal expansions, and there are also expansions called vibhinamsha, separated expansions. I am the punishment of all means of suppression, and of those who seek victory, I am morality. Of secret things, I am silence, and of the wise, I am wisdom. There are many suppressing agents, of which the most important are those that cut down miscreants. When miscreants are punished, the agency of chastisement represents Krishna. Among those who are trying to be victorious in some field of activity, the most victorious element is morality. Among the confidential activities of hearing, thinking, and meditating, silence is most important because, by silence, one can make progress very quickly. The wise man is he who can discriminate between matter and spirit, between God's superior and inferior natures. Such knowledge is Krishna himself. Whatever existence is not founded on the energy of Krishna is called Maya, that which is not. Everything has a cause, and that cause or seed of manifestation is Krishna. Without Krishna's energy, nothing can exist, therefore, he is called omnipotent. Without his potency, neither the movable nor the immovable can exist. Whatever existence is not founded on the energy of Krishna is called Maya, that which is not. O mighty conqueror of enemies, there is no end to my divine manifestations. What I have spoken to you is but a mere indication of my infinite opulences. As stated in the Vedic literature, although the opulences and energies of the Supreme are understood in various ways, there is no limit to such opulences, therefore, not all the opulences and energies can be explained. Simply a few examples are being described to Arjuna to pacify his inquisitiveness. Know that all opulent, beautiful, and glorious creations spring from but a spark of my splendor. Any glorious or beautiful existence should be understood to be but a fragmental manifestation of Krishna's opulence, whether it be in the spiritual or material world. Anything extraordinarily opulent should be considered to represent Krishna's opulence. But what need is there, Arjuna, for all this detailed knowledge? With a single fragment of myself, I pervade and support this entire universe. The Supreme Lord is represented throughout the entire material universes by entering into all things as the Supersoul. The Lord tells Arjuna that understanding how things exist in their separate opulence and grandeur is unnecessary. Arjuna should know that all things exist because of Krishna entering them as the Supersoul. From Brahma, the most gigantic entity, down to the smallest ant, all exist because the Lord has entered each and all, sustaining them. Some assert that worshipping any demigod will lead one to the Supreme Personality of Godhead or the Supreme Goal. However, worship of demigods is discouraged here because even the greatest demigods like Brahma and Shiva represent only a part of the opulence of the Supreme Lord. Lord Krishna's devotees concentrate their minds on Krishna consciousness in full devotional service, situated in the transcendental position. Devotional service and worship of Krishna are clearly indicated in this chapter. The way of pure devotional service leading to the highest perfection of association with the Supreme Personality of Godhead is thoroughly explained in this chapter. Thus, Lord Krishna is worshipable, and from his potent energy, even the powerful sun gets its power. By Krishna's partial expansion, the whole world is maintained.